tell me, how is life like after prison?
But a lot of things haven't changed as well, especially in business. The problems I left, many of them are still there.
What are some of those problems?
There are problems like electricity. There are problems like
what's with electricity?
cost of living. There's this whole issue about Umeme going and what's going to happen after Umeme has gone, and the tariff. It's making a lot of people
how is that a problem?
Anxious.
The
the problem has always been the cost of power. The other day I paid power and I tried to calculate what I was paying per unit. It was 19 cents, US cents per unit, which is extremely high. Industrial, I think the average they're paying is 11 cents. Should be half that. And I think there's a bit of confusion as to how that objective will be achieved when Umeme goes. Inflation, still there, still a problem. Cost of living, still there, still a problem. So, in a way, it's back to usual.
It's back to the usual business. Yes. Now, when you look at you as a senior, the consultant now,
yes.
When you look at the plan by government to see Umeme off,
yes,
when the concession ends in just, I think, is it next year?
Yes.
What would be your advice to government in terms of their partnership and the deal they have been having with Umeme?
I think we need to find a way of keeping the private sector in electricity distribution, because they're able to raise capital, they're able to develop seamlessly without some of the burdens of bureaucracy and red tape. So we need to keep them in. And government needs to partner, but partner on a capacity building basis. So I think some kind of hybrid arrangement where we have a new Umeme that has private sector partnership and government involvement with the objective of reducing the tariff but continuing to develop the network would be the best.
How can that tariff be reduced? Because you well understand that
the
cost of production is
some
very
of the
high.
partners, some of the partners taking a bit less in terms of the return. Government can remove some of the taxes, like VAT. I think there's a generation levy. There's a number of tweaks that can be done to balance profitability and development.
Okay.
So it's not impossible to reduce the tariff.
Okay.
I think it's just a matter of getting the structure in. And I think there are a number of stakeholders who need to get involved in this. For example, Uganda Manufacturers Association. Those are key stakeholders. I believe they consume more than 70% of the power in the country. Maybe they can look within themselves and find a role in rescuing, the electricity distribution sector. NSSF could also get involved. It's already involved in Umeme. I would love to see it continue and possibly even increase its investment there. So it's not the end of the world, and I think we just need to organize ourselves.
Okay. You are in NSSF as the managing director. I just wanted to know, when you see the NSSF and the reforms that you brought in, do you see, have they paid off?
Oh yes, definitely. Definitely. A lot of the vision I had for NSF has actually been crystallized. But there's always room for improvement. But I think the spread of the investments, the involvement in things like Umeme, definitely good returns. I'm happy it's where it is. I'm happy it's where it is. And it seems to have calmed down after the most recent storm. I mean, there are perennial storms in NSSF. But I can sit back and feel smug because a lot of what I dreamed has come into realization, and obviously compliments to those who came after me and put all this into fruition.
If you are given a task right now,
yes,
to add your expertise to the NSSF, what areas would you look into and how would you remodel it?
Look, at the end of the day, my forte is strategy, finance and investment.
Yes.
And it's not only NSF that needs my help. There are loads and loads. I have scores of clients. But, you know, strategy is always the key to success. And it's at that level that you get to precipitate, you know, strategic initiatives and success. So that's the sort of sphere I love to swirl around. And for anyone, if I was asked, what's the best thing you can do for me? Even if it was the president, I'd be saying, doing your strategy.
Now, I just want to know, all this time that you are in prison, have you
Yes.
lost friends? Have you lost contact?
Of course, you have one advantage with that kind of predicament. You actually get to know your friends. And this is information. It's almost impossible to imagine how you could find it without going through such trials and tribulations. So I know my friends. I know who've been there for me. And I'm very appreciative of that. And very thankful I have that knowledge. Of course, once you're out of the system, you do lose touch and you do lose contact. But that's part of the decompression. But there's still a lot to do.
A lot to do.
And a lot to look forward to.
And then when you were made a boss in 2006, did that come as a shock to you? You were still a young guy.
No. I already was a Price
Very sharp,
partner.
very sharp,
So
but young.
my skills as a CEO were already proven, all right? Because I was admitted to partnership in Price Waterhouse in 2003,
How old were you?
33. So by the time I got the NSF appointment, I was 36, going on 37. So I didn't feel young, personally, but you know, you sit in a boardroom and you're the youngest man in the boardroom. Then it starts seeping in. But I took up the challenge. I mean, Sudhir, I was there for 17 months.
I know.
You know that most people think I was there for 17 years. But what I did in 17 months hadn't been done in 35 years. So I'll always look back at what I did with pride and achievement, and happy that I set the foundation for, you know, movement forward for NSF in leaps and bounds.
What have you learned from your past, especially this predicament that you have had to go through this time?
Know how politics works.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure having you on NT.
Thanks, Sudhir.
All right.
Always a pleasure.
Anytime.